What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on the Get Up, they're going to be talking about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Could they be good teammates? So let's see what they have to say about that.
You got the NBA playoffs going on now, obviously. And if you look at some of the teams that we think are destined to go deep into these playoffs, they're led by stars like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. I would add other names to that list. Certainly Kawhi Leonard falls in that category as well, of guys who the overwhelming expectation is may not be, probably most likely will not be, on these same teams next year. And so, Isaiah, I want you to sort of frame for everyone, if you will, including Zach, who was not with us in the meeting this morning, the way that sort of makes you think that these guys, when the leaders and stars on the team, are not necessarily guys who are going to be there long term.
I don't know if I've ever seen this in sports anywhere where the leaders and the stars of the team, you're questioning if they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out the door. Because when you talk about Kawhi Leonard, you talk about Kyrie Irving, and you talk about Kevin Durant, there's wild speculation out there that all three of those guys may be leaving to go play someplace else. And I don't know if I've ever seen that at any point.
How would you think it would have?
So Isaiah Thomas, I think you definitely seen it, but you saw it at a lower level. So just look at college basketball. Look at how many guys are one and done this year. So, I mean, if you have a college basketball team and every year you have, say, like Duke or North Carolina or whoever, you have guys doing one and done, that means you're going to have to win that year because you're a superstar, you're an all-star player, or it's going to be going to the league that next year. So in college basketball, they're kind of accustomed to having their superstars have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Look at Duke. Look at Zion Williamson. So everybody knows he's going to be one and done. He's going to leave, and a couple other guys. So they know Duke should have won that year and give everything they had because their superstars are going to be gone. Sure, could Zion Williamson come back? Yeah, he could, but you know most likely he's going to go to the league and be one and done, and you guys better get everything you can out of that guy before he goes to the league. And then guess what? The next number one star recruit comes on in, and the same thing happens over and over and over. So as far as just having the superstars having 1 foot in, 1 foot out, a perfect example would be in college basketball. And this other generation, that's the newest generation in the NBA, they're used to that too because they know guys are flip-flopping, switching teams, making super teams. So they're used to, we better win within the first year or two because this guy might be gone. We don't know what could happen. So it's about winning now. And I think that's how people have adapted to it, to the win now because the guy might not be here. So Isaiah Thomas, you have seen it just probably at the college football or the college basketball level. So let's keep going.
Their ability to lead their teams.
I just don't know if you can do it. I've never seen it done. I don't know if you can really do it to 100% of your full capability of leading and winning the championship. Now, it may happen, but I just haven't seen it.
It's an interesting thought, Zach. What?
So, like I said, it can be done. It's just a lot of these players nowadays, they're just used to winning now. The clock has been shorter. The clock is being sped up. So, like I said, you're going to win. You're going to have to win with the first year or two because these guys might be gone. And these guys, anything can happen. So, as far as what used to be a 6 or 7 year contract is turned into a 1 or 2 year type deal before guys start moving around and getting traded. And just imagine if before the guys really started leaving and bouncing around teams, just imagine for the old OKC, if James Harden stayed there, if Kevin Durant stayed there, Westbrook's there, all those guys. Just imagine if none of those guys left and they stayed on 10-year contracts, 10-year contracts. Where would they be right now? Because that's 3 MVPs right there. And one guy might be getting his second MVP. So just imagine if guys stayed that long on teams, what type of dynasties they have. But most of those guys, Kevin Durant's got working on his 3rd ring. Well, Harden not because they're in the same division. But anyways, like I said, guys aren't staying as long as they used to. And it's a dying breed of guys that stay with their teams pretty much the whole career. I mean, look at Tim Duncan, multiple rings. Look at Dirk Nowitzki, stayed with his team the whole time, 1 ring. Look at Kobe Bryant, the 20 years, got 5 rings. I mean, so it's the time of guys staying 8, 10, 20 years, that's just not really how it is anymore. But anyways, let's keep going.
What do you think of when you hear him say that?
Well, I don't know that it's unprecedented. There have been other free agents, but to have so many at the same time with so much at stake for their franchises. Well, I think every team has had to deal with it in their own way. Like Toronto, I just think, well, we'll figure it out. We have no idea. The Kyrie stuff has been drama all year. KD, it's like everyone's assuming he's leaving. But so far, arguably, those are the three best players in the playoffs. It's crazy.
And we can add Jimmy Butler in for Philly, because what would their team look like if Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris leave? Now, they might have cap space, but as a lot of teams know, just because you have cap space doesn't mean you're going to get somebody to fill that need. So I think it can be done, because I think the Warriors are going to win, so you're going to see KD win it with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, just because their team is so talented.
And then it actually brings up the possibility we could have an NBA Finals where the Warriors, led by Kevin Durant, and the Celtics, led by Kyrie Irving, could be playing against each other, while the world seems to believe they're destined to go play somewhere else together next season. But I know you have some question as to whether they are really a good fit for whatever team they play.
Yeah, I don't see these two being a good fit because they have the same skill set. I mean, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they're both ball dominant. What makes Kevin Durant effective in Golden State is that Klay plays off the ball and Steph plays off the ball. The 2 point guards for Golden State is Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Those are the main ball handlers. When you look at Kyrie Irving, he's a ball dominant guard. He wants to handle the basketball. The thing that made him not like Cleveland as much is that LeBron James was ball dominant also, and Kyrie said he wanted his own team. Now you put...
So what I don't really understand is I thought Kevin Durant, people are talking about Kevin Durant should be shooting more. So I don't necessarily think that Kevin Durant is more dominant or ball dominant than Kyrie. But I think the problem that might be with them, which I think that it can work, is... Like I said, Kevin Durant is not the alpha male take charge type guy, so I don't think he'll have a problem playing the second fiddle to Kyrie, because Kyrie's a little bit more dominant. But if they for whatever reason they don't click with each other, I think bringing in one more other superstar will make things work, because they can all play off of each other. But if you just have two guys, all they're doing is bouncing off of each other. There's no relief there, because if they don't like each other, if something goes wrong, it's going to get tough. But if you have that third wheel, and they can kind of play off of each other and kind of play with each other, so they don't get tired of each other. You know, if I get so-and-so gets tired with them, then I'll just go chill with this person, and vice versa. And they can just keep doing a triangle, if you will. So I think they might need one more person, but I don't think it'll quite get to that, because I think Kevin Durant and Kyrie will be able to work through that. Even if you want to say they're both ball dominant, that's something that could be adjusted with the coach. They can make adjustments for that. I think it's more valuable that they play with each other because of their skill sets, and don't worry about necessarily who's going to be super ball dominant. It's more they have more pluses than minuses of them being together versus not being together, because they're both ball dominant. So they'll find a way to split time or do whatever. But just having them to be together, that's good enough. So let's keep going.
Kyrie and Durant together, which one of them is going to be the ball dominant person and which one is going to play off the ball?
What do you think?
Well, I think Kevin Durant's the best player, right? So I think you would do that. And I think that's what happened with LeBron James. It was like LeBron was like, I'm going to score, I'm going to assist, young fella, you just go get buckets.
So LeBron James is more egotistical. I want the ball, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, Kevin Durant will be a little bit more forgiving and is more of a team player. And I think that's why him and Kyrie would be able to make that work, even though Isaiah Thomas says that they're both ball dominant, which I don't think Kevin Durant is that ball dominant to that effect. But I think there's more pluses than minuses of Kyrie and Kevin Durant getting together and playing, and they can filter out and work through if they're both being ball dominant. Like I said, the coach can come up with plays and figure out situations of who's going to get the ball, when and where and what time. So I think that could be worked out. But I think they can definitely make that work. I like to see maybe one other superstar with them, so they're not just completely feeding off each other. I think there needs to be a relief of a third man there, so it's like a triangle. They don't just get stagnant with each other. So I don't know, but let's keep going.
Right? And it was like, I think as a point guard and as a guy wanting to helm his own team, I think that might have been, I don't want to say frustrating, but I think he wanted that opportunity.
But is it a good fit? Is it a good fit?
So Kyrie wanted his own team. I think he was supposed to have that obviously before LeBron James got there. But I think Kyrie learned a lesson of what happened when you don't have another superstar guy like LeBron James playing, because him and Kyrie went to the championship and they lost. But then that next year, Kyrie was playing in Boston. And actually, Boston took him to 7 games in Eastern Conference Finals, as a matter of fact. But they just didn't have enough up because I think Kyrie was hurt. A couple other guys were hurt in Boston. But I think Kyrie learned his lesson, and he realizes you'd rather be playing with a guy like LeBron or Kevin Durant than not. Even though he can do it, but having that extra killer, that extra assassin on your side to get you over that hump, I think he's learned. He's learned from that type of stuff. And I think he'll be able to make adjustments and play with Kevin Durant and sacrifice, I guess, ball time or whatever you want to call it, being ball dominant and split it with a guy like LeBron James. The payoff is just more better of having somebody else like Kevin Durant and not being able to have the ball versus trying to do it by yourself. So I don't know, but let's keep going.
No, I think it's a good thing. Look, if the Knicks can get those two, get those guys. If somebody else can get both those guys,
I think it's a good fit. No, wait a minute. I mean, Magic Johnson and I were great friends.
Yeah.
We played the same position. Now, Kyrie and Durant, they're good friends. But as basketball players, Magic Johnson and I would not have been compatible. Just like I don't think Kevin and Kyrie are compatible.
But you wouldn't have complained.
Well, I think you two have different personalities. Like, you can tell Isaiah Thomas is that strong alpha male dominant type guy running the true point, and Magic Johnson is they're just too good, to tell you the truth. But Magic Johnson, I don't think he's as I don't want to say as alpha male dominant strong as Isaiah Thomas, but Magic commands that same type of respect, even though his personality is a little bit more different. Magic Johnson's like kind of not quieter, but he's not as forceful as I would say as Isaiah Thomas is, but Magic's gameplay is. And that's why I think probably Magic Johnson's probably one of the best point guards ever. Definitely one of the best point guards ever. And he's freaking huge too. So you guys already know Magic Johnson's like 6'9". So I think he's the biggest point guard ever. So I don't know, but let's keep going.
To have Magic.
No, I wouldn't have complained. But I'm just talking about who's going to have the ball out front. That's going to be problematic.
The idea that maybe it's not the perfect fit, real quick.
Well, you can't. Perfect is the enemy of good. It's the two great players. They can both shoot. They're both useful off the ball. They can run pick and roll together, and you can't switch it. I think it works. I think it's fun.
I think Durant, Clay, and Steph are perfect.